The Return of the Vampire. Book 3 of the Immortals of Rome saga.
Chapter 2. Clarissa stepped into the main lab, the echo of her footsteps sharp against the concrete floor. Behind her, the guard who had escorted her remained rooted in place, silent and unmoving. Every time she glanced at him, her discomfort deepened. She needed to talk to Dr. Ellis. She wasn't a prisoner, was she? Her lab coat was cinched tightly around her, more for comfort than warmth, but the chill in the room felt deeper than the temperature. Spotting Dr. Ellis across the room, reviewing something on a tablet, she approached him directly. "Dr. Ellis," she said, steady but careful, "I think it's time someone told me exactly what I'm doing here and what Project Cronos actually is." He looked up, expression unreadable. As he studied her, Clarissa noticed something else. She was the only woman in the lab. A few of the other scientists glanced at her, their gazes cold, appraising, suspicious, not curious, not welcoming. Was it misogyny, territorialism, or something else? Clarissa bit the inside of her cheek. She hoped it wasn't gender-based. There was no place for that in science, or so she believed. After a tense pause, Dr. Ellis tucked his tablet away and gestured for her to follow him. He led her to a room in the back of the lab, where a large monitor dominated the far wall, currently blank. The lighting was low, casting eerie shadows across the brushed steel surfaces. "Have a seat," he said. Clarissa took one of the cold metal chairs. Her skin prickled with a sense of foreboding. "What I'm about to tell you, Dr. Devereaux, may seem unbelievable, but I need you to keep an open mind. In fact, it's essential." She raised an eyebrow, trying to inject some warmth into the moment. "Clarissa," she said lightly, "you can call me Clarissa. We'll be working together, after all." His nod was curt, his expression unchanged. "Very well, Clarissa." He folded his hands in front of him. "The work we do here is unlike anything else on Earth. Very few even know this facility exists. But what we're doing isn't just significant, it's critical, vital to the survival of humanity." Clarissa blinked. The survival of humanity? She let out a short laugh, nervous, disbelieving. "That sounds dramatic."
Dr. Ellis didn't flinch. His voice dropped a fraction. "It's not. The Cronos Project is developing something that will not only change science, it will rewrite the course of human history." A chill swept through her that had nothing to do with the lab's temperature. Clarissa leaned forward, voice low. "I need more than cryptic warnings. I need to know what I'm being asked to commit to." He hesitated, watching her closely. Then, "All will be revealed soon. But understand this. Once you learn the truth, there is no going back. And you do understand the full extent of the confidentiality agreements you signed, correct?" Clarissa nodded, but the agreement she'd once dismissed as a legal formality now loomed like a trap. "Yes," she said, though a tangle of doubt churned inside her. Her mind raced. What kind of discovery could be this secret, this protected? Maybe it was medical, something transformative. A vaccine, genetic therapy. She had dreamed of changing the world through science. That had to be why they'd chosen her, right? Ellis exhaled slowly, as though weighing each word. "This project isn't new, Clarissa. Quite the opposite. The research that led us here began centuries ago, and we're still searching for answers." Her eyes narrowed. "Dr. Ellis, with all due respect, you're giving me riddles. That's not how I work. If you want me to contribute, I need clarity, now." Dr. Ellis sighed softly, as if he had anticipated her reaction. He paused to collect his thoughts, then spoke in a quieter, almost reluctant tone. "All right. The first thing you need to understand is this. There are beings, non-human beings, that have lived among us for thousands of years. Predators, demonic in nature. They've hunted us, fed on us. For most of human history, we were their prey." Clarissa stared at him, eyes narrowing in disbelief. The words felt absurd, out of place in a lab, coming from a man of science. She couldn't stop herself from cutting in. "What are you talking about, Dr. Ellis?" she demanded, voice sharp with confusion. "That sounds insane." He met her gaze calmly, but something in his eyes unsettled her. A weight, a shadow of truth too heavy to carry lightly. "I'm talking about what most people call vampires, Clarissa. And here, in this lab, we study how to eliminate them, among other things." For a moment, everything stopped. Clarissa froze, stunned. Her brain rejected the words as quickly as they registered. "Vampires?" She almost laughed, her arms crossed instinctively, her body retreating. "You're telling me this entire facility, this research, is about mythical creatures?" Her voice cracked between disbelief and rising anger. "This is what I was recruited for?" Ellis didn't flinch. He let her reaction settle, unbothered, as if he'd witnessed it a dozen times before. "I know how it sounds. Every scientist who sat in that chair has said the same thing. But I'm not asking you to believe me blindly. I'm asking you to look for yourself. Once you see the evidence, everything will change."
Clarissa didn't move. She was torn, caught between her training, her logic, and the gnawing instinct that Ellis wasn't lying. His calmness, his certainty, it didn't match delusion. And she knew his reputation. Ellis didn't speak without data. "Show me," she said at last, her voice tight, her pulse hammering. "If there's something to see, show me." Ellis nodded, as if he had been waiting for her to ask. He turned to the large screen and powered it on. The hum of the machine filled the room, blending with the low buzz of fluorescent lights. "Brace yourself, Clarissa," he said softly. "This is only the beginning." Images flickered to life. Grainy footage from security cameras. A row of prison cells, each one holding a figure slumped in chains. The metal shackles looked industrial, reinforced, too heavy for anything human. Clarissa leaned forward, her breath catching. There were 4 of them, pale, thin, wearing shredded, filthy clothing. They looked emaciated, hollow, almost dead. "What is this?" she whispered, a hand rising to her mouth. "These people, they look like they've been tortured." Ellis stepped closer to the screen, his expression unchanged. "They're not people, Clarissa." She turned on him, horror and disbelief crashing through her. "They're chained up like animals. Are you telling me this isn't torture?" Ellis didn't raise his voice. He simply adjusted his glasses and pointed toward the screen. "Watch." He walked to a nearby desk and powered on an older laptop. The screen flickered, showing grainy black and white footage. Clarissa squinted. A man sat in a lab chair, restrained, visibly agitated. And then, in a blur of motion, he snapped the restraints like paper and lunged. The scene turned violent in seconds. Screams tore through the footage as the man tore through scientists like paper dolls. He moved with inhuman speed, ripping hearts from chests, hurling bodies into walls. Clarissa recoiled, her entire body tensing as she watched the carnage unfold. It was horrifying, unnatural. "That's not possible," she muttered. She watched him finally fall, a massive spear impaling him from behind. His body went still, dragged away by a tactical team. Ellis turned to her. "Do you think that man was human?" She said nothing. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Ellis continued, his voice calm. "What year do you think this footage was taken?" Clarissa looked at the quality, the uniforms, the equipment.
I don't know. The 40s? 50s? He shook his head. 1923. A cold shiver gripped her. She turned back to the large screen. The 4 prisoners were still there, still motionless, but something drew her attention to cell number 4. One of them, a man with long, dark, matted hair. His robe hung in tatters around his skeletal frame. His skin was impossibly pale, almost glowing in the dim light. Despite his emaciation, his face was hauntingly perfect, sculpted, elegant. She couldn't look away. He looked like the man from the video. No, he was the man. She moved closer, heart pounding. No, it can't be him. That was 100 years ago. He'd be dead. And then he opened his eyes, dark, piercing. They locked onto hers through the monitor.
Clarissa staggered back, instinctively raising her hands to her throat, shielding herself from a danger she couldn't explain. Ellis didn't even flinch. "Somehow he's looking at you," he said quietly. "And yes, Clarissa, he's the same man." Clarissa's chest tightened, her world cracked beneath her feet, logic, science, reason, all slipping away. "No," she whispered, but her voice was trembling. "This is insane." But the prisoner, Luciano, was still staring, and in his eyes she saw a truth more terrifying than any fiction. He was not human.